Hello and welcome back guys to another episode. Instead we're playing some Modern Warfare 2 free-for-all, but this is not a road to a kill cam. This is about my life. So I've been through a lot in my life. I'm 16. My name is Grayson. I was born in Sugar Land, Texas, and I live in Houston, Texas. I've always lived in Houston, Texas. I lived in the same house all my life up until 2 years ago. When my mom and dad divorced, and I moved in with my mom in her house. And I've lived in Katy with my cousin because when my parents first divorced, my mom needed a place to stay, and it was a lot easier for her to stay with her twin sister, which is my cousin. Y'all have heard a lot about my two cousins, Noah and Danny. They're great support and great help in everything I do. And I'm glad that they're my cousins and that I can say that they're my cousins. My two favorite cousins are Mexican, which is really funny because I'm super white. So like when we go to stores with their mom is white as well, and so when we go to stores, they're always, or like restaurants and stuff, they're always like, oh, are these? And they'll give the hint that like I'm the son and that they're my two daughters, and that they're just my friends and that I went to dinner with. It's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious that it's just that way. And it's funny because like they'll be like, oh, so I'll be like, oh, what do you want? And I'll be like, oh, I just want a steak. And they'll be like, okay, so what do your moms want? What does your mom want? And I'm like, oh, that's not my mom. And then they're like, oh, okay, so what do your friends want? And it's like, yeah, no, those are my cousins. So that's just pretty funny to me. So let's just get on to my life. The first sport I ever played was baseball. I played baseball when I was very young. I played on a team that my dad coached. Our theme song was SpongeBob SquarePants. Before every game, we would sing SpongeBob SquarePants, and we would it would be like our pre-game chant. So that was. Looking back at it, it was pretty stupid, but it's hilarious that that's what that was. There's been a lot of crazy things in my life. So once I was done being a baseball player, and I stopped playing baseball because my big brother stopped playing baseball, and me and my big brother were really close when we were kids. So when he stopped playing baseball, I was like, oh, why am I still playing baseball? So I completely stopped playing baseball. But when I was a kid, I was like really good at baseball compared to everybody else. So like I was really good compared to my cousin, or compared to anybody at baseball. Not at my age. I was young. I was called Slugger because I'm a really slow runner when I was a kid, but I was like really hard hitter, and I was really strong, like upper body and stuff like that, so I could hit the ball really far for my age. And I was T-ball, so it's not like I played like really when I was like super young, but I played T-ball. Or I mean, I didn't play like to like a middle aged. I played when I was like really young, and that's just how I always played. So after leaving baseball to go play roller hockey, yeah, I know, hockey in Texas, right? Really different. So I went to go play roller hockey in Texas, roller hockey. I mean, I didn't really mean to say in Texas, but I went to go play roller hockey because that's where my big brother went, and we went to go play at a roller rink, at like a community roller rink. That's like really small. It's like a small rink. Not much people know about it. It's in Bear Creek, and so we became like really good friends with most of the people there, and we all started becoming really good friends, and we all started playing a lot of hockey games together, and me and my brother grew to be very good hockey players. So and at that time, I had no idea what like parents arguing really meant. So my parents would argue some nights, and it wasn't that bad ever. It never really got bad. So we grew like, so me and my brother, and then we had a little brother, my little brother. And my little brother became a roller hockey player as well. He didn't play baseball like we did as a kid. He just went straight to roller hockey like us. Interesting fact about Tyser, which is my little brother, if you didn't catch on to that right there. He's a really good tap dancer, and he's never took tap dancing lessons. He's just a good tap dancer, and it's so weird. We don't know why he's a good tap dancer. He just is. So that's just something that he's just really good at, and that he has, like, that I wouldn't say he has a passion for it. He's just good at it. That was, oh my gosh. Please, why? Thank you. God, that was annoying. Oh no. So yeah, so he grew up being a. That's annoying. So he's just a really good tap dancer. So we grew up, we kept growing, we played a lot of roller hockey. I met a lot of friends. Most of my friends were roller hockey. And then I grew up into a really competitive hockey player. So I started doing, I would start going on travel tournaments. I would start competing in like Austin and Dallas, and I would go to Jopa, which is between here and the Woodlands, and I would compete there as well in this Kid Quick Cup final. But we're gonna keep going because I still got a lot to talk about. So so yeah, I would go to all these tournaments, and I was like huge into big tournaments, and that's just what I did for most of my life. I just did roller hockey most of my life, and I was really close to my cousins at that time as well. I've always been really close to my cousins. So we started doing all these tournaments, and I ended up being selected into a all-star. It was like kind of like an all-star. It's called State Wars, and it's like the all-star team. It's the best. It's done by year. I'm a 99, so it's done by year, and since I was one of the best of my league, I like, how do I say this? I got selected to try out for the team, and I made the team. And then I ended up not being able to go because my big brother didn't make the team, but my brother did make the team. But the coach that selected him wasn't there the second day, and the coach that wanted all these players from his old team to be on the team took my brother off and put a player who wasn't even there on. So that didn't make my brother any happy. Yeah, it wasn't a good time. So then we moved on to my brother went to go play ice hockey for College Station. He went to go play for Brazos Valley High School. And we grew from there. So I followed quickly in his footsteps to go play ice hockey. And by this time, I was getting into Modern Warfare 2. I was just starting to play Modern Warfare 2. I was when I started playing ice hockey, Modern Warfare 3 was the game that came out. It was about Modern Warfare 3 that came out. So I got really big into that game, and I played a lot of Modern Warfare 2. Modern Warfare 2 is by far my favorite game, and that's why I play Modern Warfare 2 most of my time. It's by far my favorite Call of Duty. I wouldn't say it's my favorite game. I've been really into CSGO right now. I've been just playing a lot of competitive matches, and it's been really fun. But so back to what I was saying was the first game I really grinded was this game, was Modern Warfare 2, and then quickly following it was Modern Warfare 3. And I would have to say I do miss all the non-boots on the ground and stuff like that. But those were my favorite games. So that's the games I played when I first started playing. My first game I ever played, though, was Spy something, like Spy Fox or Sly. I think it was Sly. Yeah, that's I think the game. And you were like a fox, and you were like, and you had a group, and you were a team, and you had like all these, and you were a team, and you were like spies. And I'm pretty sure your name was Sly, and that was the game name. Pretty sure, not positive. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure. Danny's gonna have to post in the comments telling me what it is. So Danny, just post in the comments what it is, and I'll come correct myself. I'll say in the next video what it really is. So that was my first game I ever played, but I only played that when I went over to my cousin's house. So after that, so I got into Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3, and I started doing like playing with all my friends, and I was a machine gunner back then. I didn't really snipe, but then my cousin introduced me to quickscoping. Noah, he was a quickscoper and he was pretty good. But if he hit markered a shot, he would straight go to pistols. I don't usually do that. I'm more of like the classic, or not a classic quickscoper, a like full-time quickscoper. I rely on quickscoping the whole game, unless I'm like really trying. Then I will use a machine gun, but that's not what I'm really saying. So after he introduced me to quickscoping, I started really wanting to make videos. So I started like making videos on my phone and stuff like that when I was a kid, and I didn't really know what you needed to have like a PVR and stuff like that. I didn't even know what a PVR was. And on my 12th or 13th, I think it was my 13th birthday, I bought my first PVR. And I didn't realize you had to have a computer of it. I don't know why I didn't put two and two together. But I didn't have a computer for it. And then I turned 15, and I started dating Viviana when I was 15, and she got me a laptop for my computer. I mean, for a laptop for my birthday, and it wasn't like a really good laptop, and it wasn't like a really expensive laptop, but it was good. It was good enough to do schoolwork on, which is what I needed it for. Is because that's when I was just getting into high school. I was turning 15. I was getting into high school, and that all started happening. So she got me a laptop to start doing my schoolwork on and all that stuff. And she's been a huge help in everything I do, and she's always there for me, and that's just amazing. Currently, she's at skate practice right now. That's why she would probably be sitting in for this video, but she's at skate practice right now. So we're just gonna leave her to do that. She's a figure skater. Let's back up a little bit though. I started jumping around once I got into the mono. Okay, so let's go back to when I first started playing ice hockey. So about a year after I first started playing ice hockey, my parents divorced. It was really hard on me, and it was like really hard times it was really hard for me to like keep moving forward and do everything I do and like play hockey and all that stuff, because it was really hard, because some games my mom wouldn't show up and some games my dad wouldn't show up, and it was just really hard because every time they were at a game, they wouldn't talk to each other, and they would like come up to me at separate times to say great job and stuff like that, and it was annoying and confusing, and I didn't like it that much, or I didn't like it at all. And they did argue a lot though, and they really did needed to separate, because it wasn't really good for us to watch all the arguments that they had. And they don't argue as much anymore. They're getting over it. They're becoming like friends, I would have to say. They're becoming more of like just people who they can talk to, because they already know pretty much everything about them. And so yeah, and right before my parents divorced, so I was laying in my bed and I was watching Thomas the Train with my brother, and my two brothers, and my mom ran into the room, my mom ran into I would have to say, their room, my dad and her room, and told her there's a fire, get the kids out the house, and she ran out the house. Well, what my dad didn't really understand was he thought our house was on fire. My mom just ran out the house. So, when he was running off, when she was running off, he screamed, "Save yourself!" just to joke around and just to mess with her. So, it started like, that was always a joke, because the house wasn't on fire, our backdoor neighbor's house was on fire. But it's a really sad story what happened to him. His son actually shot him and then burned down the house, and it was really sad, because I really knew the guy. I knew the dad. I didn't know the son at all, because the son was like 23, and that was the way he had to join a gang. He had to kill his father, and so that's what he did. And they did catch him very quickly. They caught him within 3 days, and he has now life. He's he's imprisoned for life for gang activity, for murdering, for burning down a property, and for stealing him because he stole his dad's truck after. So he ended up having to pay a lot. Plus he had to, like serve life. He's serving life. I would say he's about 28, 29, maybe even 30 now. But yep, he lives his life in prison, and he's gonna have to live the rest of his life in prison. So then my parents divorced, and I moved in with my cousins. And I lived with my cousin Noah and my cousin Danny, and it was really fun living with them. I enjoyed it. I woke up every morning being with my cousins, and we had a great time together. And then I started, like, growing as, like, we all started growing, and we got really close throughout this. We connected on every level. We started, like, hanging out. We started telling each other everything. It was a great experience being with them, because a lot of people can't really spend a lot of time with their cousins. But at this point, I started, like, really being with my cousins. And they understood me, because right before my parents divorced, their parents divorced, and it was a really bad divorce. I'm not going to get into it because my cousins are really touchy on that situation, so I'm not going to get into it. One day maybe I might get into it with like Noah or Danny in a video, but I'm not sure if either of them would be comfortable with that, so I'm not going to get into it. So they both understood me, though. They both understood like how I was feeling and what I was going through, and they both helped me a lot when I was going through it. So they were there for me, and it was great because not a lot of people were there for me when I was going through this. I was there for both my brother and my sister, and my big brother was there for me, but not completely. My big brother was just becoming like he was becoming like big in high school, and he was like starting to drive around, and he was getting a lot of friends, and he was like he had a girlfriend and all that stuff. So it started to become really hard, and I was living with my cousins, and he didn't live with us. He ended up living with our dad, so it's not like he could help us a lot anyways, because he was just not with us any of the day. He was with my dad. Thank you, finally. It only took 3 shots. But so after that, so we moved out, and we moved into the house I currently live in right now. We moved into this house because my mom really needed her own house, and she needed to live by herself. So we moved into this house, and then we started my aunt moved in with us because she was having trouble paying her rent, and she hadn't really nowhere to live. So she moved in with us, and it was a really weird situation. It was a hard situation really for me because this aunt was like, I don't really connect with her well. She's totally different than what I am, but we connected the best way possible, and it wasn't like bad. It's not like we didn't like each other. It was just like there was nothing really to talk about between us, so it was really hard to talk to her about anything. So after that, she moved out. She moved to Galveston, and she got her own job as a banker in Galveston. So then after that, my cousins moved in. And when my cousins moved in, they have a bunch of little kids, and a baby was on the way. And we have my cousin Austin. And my cousin Austin he's really good. He's I believe 4, right? Yeah, he's 4. And you're 5? Okay, so he's 5, and me and him look exactly the same. If you put a picture of me at 5 next to him as a picture of him at 5, we look exactly the same. So that's pretty funny that we're not even brothers and we still look exactly the same. So kind of going off here. Don't know if I have the lead or not. Hopefully I do. Yeah, I do have the lead. Awesome. Hopefully we'll get the final on this. Um, so after I so when we first moved in here, I went to my middle school. I was still in middle school, and I started to get really involved in sports, like super involved. Like everything I did was about sports. So I started playing a lot of hockey. I was on the football team, and just everything I did was about sports. And my best friend when I was that age was named Cameron. He was we were both like he was the quarterback for my football team and I was the middle linebacker, so we practiced against each other a lot, and it was easy for us to practice against each other because since we practiced opposite positions, we could both work against each other, and we didn't have to like trade off or anything. Like we didn't have to like take turns throwing to each other and stuff like that. I just played the opposite position he did. So I would run a play and he would read it, and that was his quarterback, and I had to read what he would do, and it just worked out very well. And after every school day, a bunch of my friends would come over and we'd all play football. We'd all like be together and we'd all like just have a great time together. And we all grew as friends, and I ended up becoming like a good football player, and I like grew very quickly into football, and I started to become very good at football. And then I went to high school, and I went to a thing called SSP. It's what you go to when you first join my school. You have to do this before you can really do anything else, before you can actually play football. So I started to do that, and I don't know how that kid beat me. So then I went to that, and then playing the football season, we were undefeated until we played a team, and I broke my hand playing them, but I ended up playing the rest of the game, which was not a good idea. But I didn't know my hand was broken. It was more of I just walked back on the field, got my hand wrapped up, almost got a collateral there, but I just wrapped my hand back up, and then went back on there. It was just one of those things. So then after that, I'm sorry, dude. God dang it. I just need one more kill to a final. How many people are close? Okay. Oh, great. I'm not even gonna be able to get there, I bet. This kid better not kill final. Okay, it doesn't look like he's going final. God dang it, this kid. Now he's just growing. Oh, now he's at 29. Great. Watch, I'm not even gonna be able to get to final because of this kid. Oh, okay. No, he's trick shotting. Thank you. That's final, boys. Okay, so I am on final. So, god dang it. So after growing then I started to, after that football season, I started to really get into things, and and then in the summer, I was playing hockey, and so I was really into hockey over the summer, and I was doing a lot of things in the summer league. And then we were off for a while, and my brother was living at my dad's house because he had a tumor in his knee, and we were going through a lot. And he was out of town. I think he was in Austin with a couple of his friends, and his girlfriend was still at my dad's house, and she was like just staying at my dad's house because that's where they both lived. And we were playing soccer in the front yard. Me, my little brother, my little sister, and my big brother's girlfriend were all playing soccer, and the ball went over to my head, and I went to go windmill kick it, or whatever that's called. Bicycle kick, I think is actually what it's called. I went to go bicycle kick it, and I dislocated my left kneecap. And I went to the hospital the next day, and I was talking to one of my dad's old best friends, and he was like really big into sports, and he's a doctor now, and he was like, yep, you dislocated your kneecap, and a lot of your cartilage was ripped off. You're gonna have to have surgery. We'll book it for this time, and this time. And so I ended up having surgery on my left knee, and it was a pretty fast recovery, a lot faster than it should have been. And then I started playing hockey again. In my third game back to playing hockey, I dislocated my right kneecap. So I dislocated my right kneecap. playing hockey, and then we ended up not getting surgery on that, and then I dislocated my right kneecap again when on the first game I went back to hockey. So I dislocated my kneecap, and when I dislocated my kneecap, I had to have surgery on it definitely. So about 3 weeks after having surgery, I started YouTubing, and once I started YouTubing, I started getting really into computer games and really just all games. And that's when I really got into CSGO. I used to play CSGO just by myself, but after a while I started to really get into CSGO. So I now, currently, the 3 games I play is Modern Warfare 2, CSGO, and I play DayZ. And if y'all don't know, DayZ is set up totally different now. If you go to DayZ and you click on, and instead of doing the regular DayZ, you do the experimental beta, it is so much better. I run, I think, 52 frames on it now, and I used to run 5 or 10, and now I run 52 frames, and it's just amazing. It's fun playing that game, and that's gonna. Now I'm making this video, so that's gonna wrap up the video for today, guys. I really thank y'all for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and